Okay, have you ever been a member of a large group and a clique inside of it, of whatever was your interest? I always called them cliques, but apparently it's clique. But apparently. But have you ever been a member of that as an adult? Not during high school or anything like that, but as an adult. And how did that work? Was it at work, or was it, however it was? But the reason that this is on my mind is I woke up this morning from a dream about when I was a member, and I realized it was so long ago. Over time this morning, I have, got to the point where I did get to the point where I tried to figure out when was the last time I was in touch with any of these people. It was like there were probably thousands. I don't think anybody ever took a roll or something, but and usually it was probably hundreds, the low hundreds that would actually were very active in the group, and they would do things like have different kinds of get-togethers. Like, it's going to be one of those days I come out here and I lose my voice. But different kinds of get-togethers, like it could be anything from meeting in a restaurant to having a picnic, barbecue party, whatever. Some people's own, homes have the parties, or at some conference room or something, and going up. But various kinds of get-togethers, and that's what this group had. And it's usually, like I said, hundreds, but each kind of get-together you might only see a handful, or you could see, depending where it was. If it was outside, and sometimes they did like games like softball, something, you see, just anything. And I was a member of it, and it was so long ago, and I'm losing my voice, my goodness. Okay, but anyway, it was so long ago that I do not remember when was the last time I saw any of them or was around the group. And I don't know why I stopped being around them. It could have been back in the late 1990s. Okay, quite a long while ago. And I think after that, maybe the last time would have been maybe like around 2014, maybe before that I saw any of them, and in person. Then now they have a group online, and I guess they do. I don't really know, but I had made an account on it, and back years ago, I have no idea how many years ago, and I stopped, and then I had to try again, and I had to restart a password and all this stuff. I guess I don't know when that was. Anyway, I found it today because I woke up from this dream of remembering about being part of a group like that. And I remember one specific person, and it was because he and I held a position back then. I thought it was so immature back then, but he and I had this position that some even did, put us in the A team, and they gave me this impression that they thought of he and I as the prom queen and prom king kind of level. It was really, to me, it was immature, back then. Say, mainly in the 1990s. And, I never really understood why they had me. It's not me putting myself down, but why was I that person? And some of the thoughts that back then, and some of the things that went on back then within this large group like this, they were kind of quite disturbing too. They had a lot of cliques, and cliques, as I call them. I think a lot of people pronounce it cliques, but they had a lot, and some of them were like, like the cool kids, that were adults. These were adults, okay? And I'd say all the way until like maybe as much as 40, early 40s. Yeah, from early 20s to early 40s. Their age groups. I don't know if many that were older than that, if any, like their mid 40s or so. But like I said, they got together on a kind of regular basis, probably weekly, doing some kind of get together. But I don't know why the whole group thought of he and I as that way. But I was thinking also about him. And when I woke up this morning, I guess it was part of a dream. I don't remember the dream. And immediately I thought, as I was waking up thinking, it's not my first time to think this, but at this age, you kind of have to wonder who's still alive. Seriously. This is young in a way in comparison to other people who really have to wonder who they know that's still alive. At any age, to actually think that way, who is still alive, it's kind of strange. I'm 62, and just the thought of wondering, did people make it through, this or that? Well, anyway, to get to another point here, is that guy, the one that was the prom king, I want to say that, he and I really, we were like one another's, I guess, in a way. He was more my, what is the word, protagonist? Yeah, I should know. But back then, and I know that at some point he moved overseas and got married and all this stuff, because of that group that I joined after it. And anyway, I did check it out. I got on there, checked him out to see, first, just see who was still making comments and stuff like that. And it was so messy that, I don't know, I'm going to have to sit there. And then Adam woke up and tried talking to me, and I needed to do my, this and that. And, for myself, my medications, put them in those little things, those little containers, whatever the daily, whatever they call them. And I needed to do those, and just, life started up, and then I shut it off, and then I got back on and kind of glanced at it. But I want to find out, dig a little bit deeper, and I knew two people. I only saw two people that I really knew, and I don't know, but anyway, I checked that guy out, and the last time he had written anything or posted anything was 2020, and I didn't check more to see if he was someone who regularly posted before then or what, but I got that feeling that he didn't make it through 2020. That was the feeling that came to my mind, and because that was it. After that, nothing. And this is 2026, March 9th, in fact. And then there was, like I said, I had to get busy with life, with my day, and I haven't gone back to look, to check it all out. But it was weird to see some of the people. Like one guy, he really hasn't changed. The only thing, his picture. The only thing that has really changed is his hair has gray in it. He looks a little bit. He doesn't really look all that much older. He just looks a little bit older, and that was 20-something years ago. So, and he's my age, I think. But I'd like to see, find out some of the, who's still around. But this is Facebook, so people come and go. I don't know if it was on a group or what. I don't use it, very often. I don't use it at all. So I don't know. I'm on enough social media as it is. But yeah, it's I'm curious now, or maybe I'm just being nostalgic. Well, I am being nostalgic. There's no maybe to it, but for those days, and I think the reason was because last night I was telling Adam that it's been a long while since, and I wasn't even thinking about that. I wasn't even thinking about that time in my life. I was thinking that it was a long time since I have felt a part of a group or something. And I was not even thinking about that group, seriously. So maybe that's when it came to my mind. Try to get back to, see if people are still seeing one another. I cannot imagine myself wanting to meet up with any of them, though. The last one, he turned out to be, he was someone I knew. He and I were friends, and he even knew my family, and then he dated he dated actually one of my sisters, and a few years later, another one. It was so weird, the whole thing. But the last time I spoke to him, he turned out to be very creepy, and just a bad guy. He was such as I found out, he had become, I hadn't seen him. And when I spoke to him, just such a liar. And he was creepy, because he told me, he said something very creepy to me, that there's this restaurant in a town just north of here, and he said that he would go to that restaurant because he knew that I used to go to that restaurant, and that he wanted to see if he could actually ever run across me at that restaurant. Yeah, that's kind of creepy, stalkerish much, really. He was just about, and when I knew him within the group, he wasn't like that, but he was a bit odd overall, but not anything like that. Anyway, he is someone I would not want to run across again. Like I said, he knew my family and all this stuff. Two of my sisters, and just so much. Okay, another thing it made me think about was how back then I did not see it this way, but really he and I could only understand stuff and relate. We could relate to stuff. We were the only two who could, because we were the only two that were in that position. He was more like, I said, the prom king, and I was the prom queen. Some put us in that kind, but the A team, and we weren't just the only people in the A team, but we were the leaders of that, even the leaders of the whole. And that's not trying to toot my own horn, but just saying that we could only relate. Be the only two that could relate to what the other one was going through. Being that, because that kind of position, you have so much, you may have more power, but you also have more responsibility, a lot of it. And I never really thought of it like that then, but now when I woke up today and started thinking about that, and I think, was thinking how we did have that, so much. We were the only two could relate to one another. And then when I saw that he may have, he's no longer posting, maybe he passed away, it's kind of sad. I mean, in that sense that there was that one person, we're not really that old. Neither one of us, he was just a few months older than I. So we're not even retirement age yet. And you see what I'm saying? It's more usually people think about that way after retirement, not right away. So, but these days, all the time, anytime we get online, we see, this person passed away, this person, some actor or actress, and, it shows the age and everything. So It's constantly like, on a regular basis, it seems like 50s and up. And yeah, you see some younger ones, usually they're influencers, and it's sad, no matter what age, of course, but constantly, it's like constantly being bombarded with who's passed away. And a lot of people have passed away every year, not just actors and actresses and influencers. So, anyway, like I said, it was a long time ago, and honestly, I don't know if I would want to be a member of a large group again. That large group of a group. It would be nice to be, maybe nice to be part of a group, but these days, what I've seen around here where I live, oh my, no, the snobbiness, the elitism. I remember, oh my goodness, it was probably in itself probably 20 years ago. I went to a church. I can't do churches because of what they clean the floors with, and I have so much chemical allergies that it was never good for me. The last time I tried, I don't know how long ago it was, and it was a small place. I tried big, large ones and small ones, and this one was a smaller one. It's just, I sat there at the very back of the room and was just gagging. And if anybody wears perfume in one of those places, no, oh my goodness. And a lot of people like to wear colognes and perfumes, apparently, to church. And that's just not good. Not good for somebody like me. And I'm not the only person on the planet. Plenty of people have chemical allergies, or just chemicals just really, some of it can just smell so awful. It's like going to a restaurant. Adam and I had that happen to us sometime last year? Yeah, and we went to this one restaurant we like to go to, and then close to the end of it, these people walked in, three people, and I think it was a Sunday, and they were dressed like they had been to church, and they sat on the booth right behind us, which they didn't need to. There was plenty of room, but one of the women, she had on so much cologne, unbelievable amount of cologne, and I've mentioned this. My filter is broken, and it just gagged me right away. And I said it loud enough. How could somebody come into a restaurant wearing that much cologne? People are there to dine, not to smell somebody else. You're wanting to smell your own food, and instead, what you smell, is somebody's cologne. And a raunchy smelling cologne as it was, oof. And Adam understood, I just couldn't. Sometimes the stuff just comes out. I say stuff. Like I said, my filter's broken. Like yesterday, I said something in a store like, "Ooh, my goodness, did I really say that?" I was ticked off though. Yeah, some really rude woman in a store. What is this with people thinking they can get away with that and nobody's going to say anything? Say, oh, it's okay. They want to be jerks and want to be... Well, I said the B word, and I actually said that out loud. That is so unlike me. So would it be good for me to be a member of a large group? With my filter broken like it is. I don't like that. That's not a good thing. It really is not a good thing. I'm well aware of it. And this is the side of me I'm just thinking I need to somehow, get a hold of it, because my filter really, I am one to say things like, go to a store and somebody does that whole thing. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's like, is there any time when it doesn't happen? And did I go to a store and somebody doesn't stick their hand in front of my face to get something because they're first? Or they say, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. People who work there, I mean, I just walked up to grab a product, and they come and say, excuse me, like they're most important and I should move out of their way because they're gathering groceries for pickup or delivery. No. I mean, I just got there getting my own stuff. It's happened for many, many years now. So I wound up saying, stand in line and wait your turn. And sometimes that's what I taught my kids. Do adults forget stuff? I'm not. I mean, I usually just say, stand in line and wait your turn. Or I will actually say, how rude. This is not good. This is not good. But at the same time, I wonder, does anybody ever correct anybody's behavior? When somebody is being rude like that, does anybody ever say it? Well, with safety issues these days, maybe not. Because people can be dangerous. I would never advise anybody to do that. Never. I don't give advice anyway, ever. No. But really, how else are the people going to be corrected? You can't even give them a dirty look, because that could lead to them hurting you. Some people can be so dangerous. If they feel like they're being told they're wrong, oh my. So anyway, would it be any good? I mean, things have changed so much in my lifetime, even. I mean, things have changed in anybody's lifetime. But mine, just these 62 years in comparison to all the others, and all the other things that have gone on in history in these past 62 years, my goodness, it is. I know people say, oh, that can't be true, but it is like night and day. I mean, bad things happened back then, but it seems like bad people are more out there now. And what it really does is more and more people are self-centered. Some would just say narcissistic. More and more. And they don't even think and care or worry or have any concern for, that was my lock, concern for anybody else. I locked it right then thinking about that. With my neighbors, the nosy neighbors. But really, I mean, I can't even bear some of these neighbors. I live in a nice neighborhood. It doesn't matter. I've lived, it doesn't matter. I mean, we know that there are some areas that are there's more crime, but really, I don't trust my neighbors. And to me, in this instance, not in everything, but when somebody pays so much attention to you, to me, you means me, in this respect, that there's something might be going on with them. You see, like I'm not supposed to come out my front door. There was one of them, she acted that way with anybody, I guess. Don't think I was the only one. Who knows, though. But, like she on the road. Luckily, they finally moved, the whole family, years ago. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know if groups are worth it these days, because so many people, or do they even have people that develop groups, social groups now? No, I mean, I know, I'm not new to this planet, and I'm not new to internet. I had my first computer in 1982, and I know there are some ways people can meet up and stuff like that, but I do wonder, because if so many people have become so self-centered, do they even care to, and here I am saying, I don't care to, we don't care to develop relationships. See, I would be the one that would go in hoping to have, not really hoping to have friendships. I'm not desperate for friendships, but just to have, I'm not even desperate for any of it, but it's in a way, it's an expectation. You go and you meet with a group of people that not everybody's sitting there looking at their phone, and not interacting with one another that's sitting right there. I mean, this is one thing I remember when Adam, was it last year or the year before? Anyway, he went to this doctor's office. It was a really small waiting room. It was not a doctor's office. It was a place when they do some procedures, and the waiting part to it, the waiting area. It's not really a waiting room, but it was so small, and I would say there was maximum probably would have been. Let me try to do some addition here. Probably maybe 10 people would fit in there, maybe. And everybody was sitting there, even this elderly woman, she was older than, I don't know, she was older than both of us for certain, and most people in there, I think everybody in there, she was older. She was on her cell phone too, everybody was on their cell phone. It was like, is there anywhere a person goes anymore? I mean, this is nothing new at all, but is there anywhere people go and they actually interact with others anymore? Or they just interact with their cell phone and the people on the other side? Or maybe not even anybody on the other side. Maybe it's all they watching videos or reading something or checking out what they want to buy, and me kind of stuff, and maybe send a text or two. I remember when everything changed from people actually calling people on the telephone to, and those were cell phones also, to actually, calling, to where they started sending text instead. And I was like, what is this? People don't want to talk on the phone. Instead, they want to sit there, sending me text. If you got something to say it. And over the phone, we can understand what hear the intonation, stuff like this. How many, you read text, anybody could misunderstand it and take it wrong. Nowadays, I mean, that was, I don't know how many years ago that was. So people, I don't know, maybe people like in my age group, and then I'm the younger baby boomers, and then there's the Gen X, and they actually, finally, people are talking about this, something I've been talking about for practically, I'd say decades, that younger baby boomers, we did not have it, we had it rough. Like some of the Gen X say that they were the forgotten. No, so were we. Okay, I mean, even I was there during the, when social media started being developed, younger baby boomers, and they'll say that it was the Gen X. No, I was there, and it was us too. But just anything was in my age group, that part of that generation, we were just like practically cast aside. Like whatever we did was not, we didn't do anything, instead, when we did a lot. So anyway, all this, and I'm just rambling on, but yeah, I know everything's supposed to be summed up within the first 7 seconds. And then if anybody cares to listen after that, they will. On that note.